this first one, we're doing it in two-wheel drive.
Godspeed ZRZ. Now if you guys watched my last video, you'll remember that I asked you to drop it down in the comments below if you wanted to see the 0 to 60 time with these massive 38-inch tires. I did get one comment on doing the 0 to 60 run on the last video. So today I'm going to show you guys the 0 to 60 time on the Rubicon 392 with the massive 38-inch by 1550 tires. We're going to test it out in two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive with the off-road plus mode on, off-road plus off. We're going to see exactly what kind of numbers this thing can put down. So if you guys watched my last video, you will have seen that we already installed the JL Taser Mini on the Rubicon 392, and that gives us access to quite a few different features. Now one of the coolest things is it allows you to enable two-wheel drive. So we're going to get a pretty good baseline in terms of what this thing can do for what it is right now. Now to give you a baseline of what's done to this thing, it's basically just 38 1550s, 20 by 12, -44 offset wheels. We just have an exhaust on it and no actual power modifications yet. So what I plan to do in the future, I've talked about it many times, is doing a turbo kit on this thing and really sprucing up the power. Now we'll also be re-gearing soon and adding the 488s or maybe the 513 gears. And with that, even on the stock axles, it should help our 0 to 60 time. So this is going to give us a baseline that we can use for future reference after we start adding the power modifications. And we've also got 0 to 30 timer on this JL Taser, and I wanted to see the 0 to 30 time. Now I go ahead and post up the times that have been ran so far on these stock machines. As you can tell, there's been a little bit of discrepancy. I remember originally it came out, Jeep said it was going to be 4.5. And then as soon as they landed, people were doing 0 to 60 runs and they were able to do 4.0. Now this was limited at 100 miles per hour from the factory, and you have to tune that out. But for the quarter-mile time, it's pretty impressive as well. From what Jeep says compared to what other people are able to get out of these things, it's just night and day difference. So whenever we put these 38 1550s on, I really wanted to see, like, what are we going to be able to get? Obviously, it's drastically affected the 0 to 60 time, and you can tell a difference in the responsiveness of the actual Jeep. So I'm excited to see what kind of numbers we can actually get. My honest guess is maybe somewhere around 5. If we could get anything below 5, that'd be awesome. All right, guys, so on this first one, we're doing it in two-wheel drive. Just no traction at all. Traction control was completely off, and we got 6.12 seconds. That's 6.12 seconds in two-wheel drive with no traction control on. So now I've actually re-engaged four-wheel high auto. I am going to put it in off-road plus mode right here. So this is 0 to 60, four-wheel high engaged. So that was 4.78 seconds. So that one was 4.78 seconds with the 38s on, and that was actually me merging from the shoulder of the highway on, which is pretty impressive. It did pretty good. So this one's the exact same setup, four-wheel high auto. And we got 4.76 seconds. Which 4.76 seconds, that's me merging onto the interstate each time too. There's so much traffic through here, I don't really have much time to really set up and prepare, but 4.76 seconds is not bad at all considering we've got the 38s on. So now we're gonna do one four-wheel drive, off-road plus not engaged. You can tell there, no off-road plus is engaged, and we're just gonna see what kind of launch we can get with traction control on. And we'll go in 3, 2, 1. And that was 4.70 seconds. Sorry, the footage is pretty rough. I'm not very good at holding this and trying to launch like that. This thing's pretty aggressive. That was 4.70. So we got it in standard 4-wheel high auto. I'm gonna re-engage off-road plus. Of course, that's gonna take off our traction control. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pull out here on the road and give it a little rip. So we got 4.74 with the off-road plus engaged. So it seems to be a little bit faster in just standard settings with traction control on, which is super strange. All right, guys, so we're gonna give it another run here. I'm gonna do it in off-road plus again, because I honestly feel like that's way more aggressive. And what we're gonna do is just line up right here. And we're gonna go for it. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Let's go. 4.54. Very nice. So I think what I need to do is just not brake boost quite as hard as I was, and we'll be all right. So that was 4.54 seconds, off-road plus engaged with traction control off. And while we're at it, let's get a quick little 0 to 30 in. 3, 2, 1. .84 seconds for a 0 to 30. Not too bad at all. Now in 2-wheel drive, this thing's just too much really to handle. So 2-wheel drive, you can pretty much just go ahead and ride off. But with the 4-wheel high auto engage, it does extremely well. Pretty impressed with the times. So what we have learned here, 2-wheel drive is really fun, but doesn't really serve much of a purpose other than just peeling out. And man, that is fun. But every time you stomp on it in 2-wheel drive, just like this, just gonna slip, it's just gonna roast on there for a second. Which, it is a lot of fun though to have the 2-wheel drive. It's just not very effective if you're trying to get a good time. The all-wheel drive definitely helps. But overall, I am pretty impressed with the times. To get a 4.54 on 38 1550s is pretty impressive on pretty much a stock machine. So once we get some new gearing, we still have the 373 gears. Everything's basically stock on this, just big wheels and tires. And once we do some power modifications, and definitely once we re-gear, I think this thing's definitely gonna liven up quite a bit. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on what's coming next for this Rubicon 392 build. I promise you won't want to miss it. And go ahead and drop a comment down below on what you like, what you think, and what you want to see next. But until next time, Godspeed.